Okay, can we call this meeting to order, please, of the April 7th workshop? But would you join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the roll call, please.
Aldrich. Backman.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
McLean.
Here.
Phelps.
Here.
Holland.
Here.
North.
Here. Ooh, we have a full house today. Would you please silence your cell phones? And please don't text during the meeting. Could we have an approval of the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
I'll support.
I have a motion by Phelps and support by Beckman to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Agenda carries. Is there any public comment? Jerry, got anything you want to say?
No.
Here, off your
Yeah.
chest, anything, any complaints? You've heard
Well,
it
my
at home,
wife works
perhaps?
at home, so.
We're thinking about just putting you in the roll call. All right, we'll start with the fire chief's comments.
I just wanted to share with you that I was invited in by Allen County Road Commission and the township to help support and do a tour of the washout area. The township, I think, as you know, has done a great job getting some grants, being very proactive to do something. They've been advised by engineers they got to build a second road. So the township did a great synopsis that essentially says, Representative Huizinga, do I have that right?
Huizinga, yeah.
Huizinga joined the township officials, the road commission, the fire district, and the county commission for a private tour of Lake Shore Drive. Road commission has applied for $7.2 million in federal funding through the BUILD program to support reconnecting Lake Shore Drive, not on the lake shore though, behind it. This proposed project would construct a new roadway approximately a quarter of a mile inland from the existing Lake Shore Drive to connect north and south sections that have been separated since 1980s due to the washout. So it was on a Saturday.
They're getting 2 grants for that amount?
They got a couple of grants, one to do the engineering, the study, and another one, because it was, I think, $8.5 million. So they got a couple of grants, right, Stacy?
Yes, I know, we've been
Shoot.
working on them.
They've been very active on that. I know I wrote a support letter, many people have.
You've applied for them or you got them?
I got them, I think, right?
Two of them I got.
Yeah.
This last one is a federal grant, that's why they brought in the big guns, and that's where they need $7.2 million of federal money. We have probably taken out 3 representatives out there. So, Jim Story was there, he's county commissioner. So I was gonna take them out in fire trucks, and Craig Atwood said, well, why don't we see if we can get the interurban on a Saturday, and he did. Very pleasant, very nice. I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay, moving on to unfinished business, cost recovery, percentage.
Yeah, on page 2 of your packet, and they are printed back to back. I think Dan originally asked for this. It was really a great idea. This just shows the cost recovery filings for 2025. And you always wonder how effective you are without legal and without a billing agency. And it just shows that we were lucky. We just collected one for $6,561 the other day. So that was very nice. We collected this month $8,570. We've got about a 64% return. There is one up here, if you look at the top of your page, the second light item, a PD, property damage they call that, on 196 northbound 38 mile marker. You know where that is, the bridge. That was a $10,000 bill, and they've been avoiding us. And I just worked with the attorney again today to try to figure a strategy to collect that, and they have a strategy.
Who is they?
Our lawyer.
You said they've been avoiding us.
The
Hey, who do we bill,
truck,
in other words?
the driver, operator, and the owner of the truck. The driver operator leases it from this company. Our protocol is to bill the operator, and then he can turn it over. We don't bill insurance companies because they just ignore us. In this case, everyone ignored us.
Is that the one on the bridge?
That was one of three. There was another one on the bridge, if you look at number 6. That was the one that went, the second one that went through the concrete, over the concrete, and was leaking fuel and leaking oil from a transmission and stuff. So number 6, that's a hazmat situation, which is automatic recovery. That driver was lucky to crawl out of that. So that one we just got paid from the insurance company. So, and then on the next page,
Wait,
yeah,
what about, what's number 5? There's nothing there.
number 5 is an assist on a property damage, commercial truck accident. GFD is Grassville Fire Department.
Okay.
So what they did is, it was 43 mile marker. We, by policy, go a mile past 41 up to 42. They needed our assistance
Okay.
for traffic control, so we helped them.
Oh, I remember that.
So he said, oh, we're gonna get paid, we're gonna get $300, is all I could get. So that's...
Better than nothing.
Exactly.
I hope they paid those poor suckers that hand offloaded that truck
Oh, yeah.
on its side.
See,
That
the-
was a mess.
Towing companies can confiscate the truck and the contents. We got nothing. We wanted to take a credit card machine
Yeah.
out there. It was frowned upon by MSP. And then unpaid cost recovery filings from 2023 to 2024, you can see there's about $31,000 that we were not able to recover. It's unfortunate.
Are we still trying to, or are they just lost causes?
We've tried, we've probably sent at least 2 notices each, and, you know, as soon as we involve the attorneys, $300 a letter.
Yeah.
So that's a last resort, we try everything we can, but even the box truck fire, line 13, I mean, that truck, we were surprised was on the road. Here's another one, well, that one was a carryover, it's 10,120. That 38 mile marker I would avoid.
The third chart, page 4 or whatever, I think that's what I was interested in. That's for the jurisdictions, to say that we've gotten on average 61% or 62%.
Pretty darn good.
That's pretty darn good. And
We-
talk to a car dealer sometime and see how they do try to collect.
I'm real proud of the cost recovery team on this, because we do work hard at this, and when you see the collected for the taxpayers in, 11 years, $204,000 for the taxpayers.
It's real money.
We're proud of that.
It's real money.
Well, we have another term, we call it free money.
Nothing's free. Tell my kids that all the time.
So that was the cost recovery that I do.
Okay, moving on to new business, review incident mapping.
So this is a great idea. We got this idea from Life. We've done this before, but the program didn't really show well where you had each little dot, little blue asterisk is a response. So you'll see, I hope you have the same one. Okay, up here, I'm sorry, Wendy's got it up here. 2025, so that would be year-to-date. If you look up there, it just shows, pretty much delegated to Saugatuck City and Douglas. What's interesting is keep in mind what's south of the bridge, because you're gonna see more and more blue as it comes up. Can we switch slides? So that's year-to-date, 2025.
What's the little smiley face?
That was a goodwill call. That was Eric's way of marking a goodwill call, like a smoke alarm installation.
What about the skull? Is
got a
I
depth?
looked that up, no, it's not, it's something like Nothing Matters or something, it was something goofy. He doesn't have the legend on
And there's
it.
a bone up there, the skull, I'm like, wow. I guess that's a.
That was I think it was a gas leak.
Oh, that's a wrench, I'm sorry, it looks like a bone.
Yeah, there's a
There's the
gas.
ones on- in the-
Unfortunately, I don't have the legend with me because he just created this, and there's about 9 things on there.
I
It's
think on the
weird.
online, what we got online, I think has the full image with the legend. The blue ones up there are EMS.
Right.
Yeah, you can
Is
see
it all
that.
EMS or not?
No, the blue are EMS, there's gas leaks on there,
Oh.
goodwill calls, like service calls, so.
But these aren't
These
our
are the
calls.
ones, is this the ambulance
No,
or?
they're
Our calls, oh,
Oh.
I didn't say that, I'm sorry.
Oh, I-
These are our calls, not life.
Okay.
because they look like ambulance logos, but.
We got, yeah.
That makes sense.
Our program was updated, when we did this, it was one big blue blob,
Okay.
so we aborted doing it. Now we have an upgraded program from Fire Pros, so it looks better. So what you see there is 2023 for the year. So that would represent, about 900 calls. Do we have 2024 year end?
Mhm. It's in there.
Up on the screen?
Up on the screen.
Right, there you go. So again, you got a
Get
pretty
fire or?
even,
Yeah.
even distribution. What I'll do is I'll make sure I have the legend in there next time. You can see there's no stats in there, it was just incident mapping, which we're gonna use for, why do we wanna expand the station? Why
Well,
we
what's
wanna-
interesting is we get more in Douglas as the years go by. There's more in '24 than there was in '23.
What you're gonna see,
We're older.
the nursing home, yeah, the nursing home, the school, assisted living facilities brings responses.
Well, isn't there more of you now too, because of the building? I would think.
The last census was 1,300.
I think this would be good for all the municipalities to see like 24 spread out so you can really get detailed.
Yeah,
I
we-
mean, it's nice to see the clumps, but, I mean, you've done the percentages for me one time.
And that's in the monthly stats that'll come the third week where it shows, okay, 29% of the calls are here. You just keep in mind, one of the things is, so where's the washout? Somewhere right around here, okay? So you've got to go south to M89 to go north. So it just shows you where's all the vacant land. It's over here.
What's the bone? What's the bone mean?
No, that's a wrench.
That's a wrench.
I thought it was a,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
that's
wrench.
good.
What's a wrench? The skull is gas leak, right? Or death.
I'll tell you, we'll continue, I'll have that for you, I'll get
Okay.
that for you.
This is it.
Permission to use my phone while you're...
Let me watch.
You're clarifying. That's good.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't put it in, I'm glad we had that interest in there. I don't want to bore you with this stuff, but I thought,
I think it's cool.
Right there with all the smiley faces in Fenville, such a happy town.
FYI, Max Landing is M-A-C''S, my
Yep,
thing here.
that's true. I thought Douglas was the village of friendliness, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no smiley.
Moved east, all those people moved to Fenville.
That's right.
When Kathy got elected.
Yeah, that's it.
They're gone.
And the iron fist over there, get rid of them.
Okay, moving on.
yeah, what we got next?
Fiscal year, I think this is the budget, B, right?
Right, page 9 in your packet. So the proposed budget, Peter asked for the meeting with us to kind of get this, we knew pretty much what had to be done, and we've been making notes all year round. For example, what years it, the budget's gonna fluctuate, for example, the printer is past due by a couple of years, but we're trying to push that off. You know, it's $14,000 for a printer. So what we did is we went through the line item, and essentially we added 5% on to line items, except on areas where we knew, for example, 760 vehicle equipment and maintenance, we upped that a little more because we have another truck. So it was really nothing dramatic. We didn't put any air packs in there. What we did is just put in the amount of money that is requested that we had last year plus a 5%, unless there was an area that we knew we had to up the price because of a cycle of replacement. So we went through line item by line item, and this is what we came up with, and I thought you could take a look at it when you have it at home. Some of the stuff we kept the same. Some of the stuff, we have no idea what's gonna happen with tariffs.
Yeah, that was my big question.
Because like, say, take our Motorola radios, they're made in Malaysia. Right now, we're looking with a joint venture on, can I just deviate for a minute?
No.
Oh, okay. So, here's what's on the horizon. We talking about electrical vehicle fires. So there was a huge fire last week in Holland. We don't have a mutual aid agreement. We were on the ledge of being called in. So there's over 1,000 electric vehicle car chassis in this building, 400,000 square feet. So 5 departments were called out. They wiped out Hamilton and they wiped out Grasco. So what was the fire from? So they take these electric vehicles where the battery fails, which you know is in the floorboards, right? And they put these cars in a container made of plywood, and they stack them up 30 high. They take them one by one, take them down, pull the top off, put a whole new underbody underneath it, repurpose it. There were over 1,000 in there. One of them caught fire. So 5 fire departments, the sprinkler system kept it at bay. You can't put the fire out. They had to wait for it to self-extinguish. The sprinkler system kept everything cooled around it so there wasn't more fire. But it's a thermal reaction is what happens. And no amount of water will do it. They have to just wait for it to burn itself out. It does not need oxygen to burn. So what you have is the fire triangle, remember that, Scott, so there's no oxygen in there, but there's a lot of fuel and a lot of heat. So they had to stretch 800 feet into this building. They had a 36-inch water main. Our biggest water main is 12 inches. So they're getting to a point where they were worried about losing the whole building. So what does it mean? It means a lot for us because they're moving these facilities to store electric batteries, like brand new chassis in Holland, and it's migrating this way. The fire marshal that gave the summary of what happened, the investigation, came and shared it with our EMS crew training that night. It was about a 45-minute presentation to show you that, hey, this is what's happening. Well, how do you budget for something like that?
Yeah.
It's very toxic. Also, they ruined some equipment. You know, turnout gear now, the Kevlar in the jacket is made in China. Gore-Tex subcontracts Chinese manufacturer. We couldn't get that during COVID time. Now what's it going to be? Those were things we couldn't guesstimate. Those are things we don't know what's going to happen because of the tariffs. Everybody's in the same position. So no song and dance or anything, but Peter, Chris, and I struggle with the unknowns. We just don't know.
Yep.
You know, trucks, fire trucks, a lot of the stuff is made in China. You try to buy American-made everything, and it just doesn't work that way. Nothing against the government. I know this is polarized, but to put a budget together, all I could do is, okay, cost of living 3 or 4%, we made it 5%. And then we upped some of the line items we thought would be more, you know? If we go with a, God forbid we gotta buy another truck, you'll need $1 million.
And your
per truck.
your revenue here though I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Yes, so that was calculated by Peter.
Right. Off the
And you know,
taxes.
last year you picked up $250,000 in property value increases. That's what helps us keeping the millage the same. The dramatic property value increases here. So that's why, okay, unless we wanna do a building or an addition, you know, we can sustain the budget the way it is.
Well, I would suggest we don't buy anything unless it's absolutely necessary, for probably 30 to 60 days until
Yep.
this shakes out, and I think it will.
In 60 days?
You think it'll shake out in 60
Well,
days?
well, yeah, Kathy, when I say shake out, we'll know where we stand.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, but I think in 30 to, hopefully 30 days, we know what it's gonna be. So if we can push back some purchases,
We can, sometimes what we do, when we have a line item, if there's stuff on the list and we have an overage on that budget and we don't need to amend the budget, you'll see in the third week there'll be an amendment to the budget, like IT computers is over. So we'll be changing that. So usually what we do is, okay, if we have like firefighter tools and we need a nozzle, like a blitz, we need a blitz. We have no blitz on 2111. That's a big nozzle. And we had a surplus of money in that, and I ordered that, because we don't have one. But we can certainly do it as a needed basis. We're good with that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about this, or do you want us just to soak it up, or?
Yeah, please,
I mean, if-
email or whatever.
Please
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah.
a budget is not a mandate to spend, this is just what's budgeted, and,
Fluid document,
yeah. what we-
Increase the board salaries because we're doing 2 meetings.
yep.
Not very good raise.
Nothing equals nothing.
Plus.
But like, you know what's going
Yeah.
up, the insurance every year, workers' comp is up double digits, general liability's up double digits. And that's the thing that's very hard. Workers' comp is a percentage of payroll. Well, we got $7,000 back because we were under payroll. That's a good thing. So those types of things are tough, but everybody has reasons to raise the insurance, for whatever they need to do.
Right. So, moving on to proposed cost recovery fee structure. Let's see.
So, we wanted to do this, so we added, if you look at, you can see in your packet and on the screen, you'll see what the existing rate is in black in the column, cost per hour or per container, whatever's applicable. First line, like chief officer, you know, that's me, okay, $82. If you scroll to the right, we raise that to $86. So this includes benefit packages. Here's another thing, our benefit package, we used to figure, so say if you made $30 an hour, you had 30% on. Peter and I raised that to 40% because of the cost, increased costs. So this takes into account on the wages and the benefit package, which by law you can do on reimbursement.
I think this is terrific.
And I took the cue from some of the board members on, oh, what was it? You know, so we put that on the side. Wendy helped me with this. So that's this is a kind of a basis of how we charge for stuff, because it's a legal way to justify. You'll see on the next page how we got there. And I think this is very crucial. Now, one thing to remember, here's one thing we missed. Say, for example, the last holiday, we were on 196. It was President's Day, wasn't it, Wendy?
Yes.
When we were on the roadway, Manos was off that day, Manos in the union is double time. We weren't charging for that. We caught it. So I put at the top here, overtime is applicable. So you'll see on page 11, you'll see at the top in the blue, I had overtime is applicable, just so nobody goes, well, it doesn't say that. And I didn't want to put the overtime rates in there because then it becomes too much information. So, going on to the next page, if you can jump to the next.
Greg,
Yeah, sure. Wanna go back to this?
yeah,
Sure.
just out of curiosity,
Clear of 114th Road.
Go on, I'm listening.
how you came up with the increases for, say, the light tower or the fire valve?
I think a 5%.
You just threw a 5
Yeah,
on there.
how do we arrive at that to begin with? Might be a question. Formula from FEMA. What was the cost of the vehicle in formula? We just added like a 5%, $600, $105.
Now, I would disagree with the cost of the vehicle. I would say the cost to replace that vehicle.
You got a good point.
Because what does it matter how good of a deal you got if you have to replace the damn thing if something happens?
You got a good point. Here's what I ran into, Eric, and I'm happy to entertain whatever you want. Here's what I run into. What's the golden rule or the policy with our insurance company? If it's 15 years or more older, which are tankers, which Scott talked me out of selling, those tankers, they will not replace those.
Right.
So what are they gonna give you for that tanker? Maybe 65 grand? So, if the board directs me, I'll change that. Because to buy a tanker pumper now, I would advise you do not buy a 400 gallon per minute tanker, because I can't get 300 gallons per minute out of them. Minimum size for tanker pumper, 750 GPM, you'll need 900,000. That's for a, right, two-person cab? So, when you look at an engine like, say, 2110 that you just had built, can you scroll up, please, Wendy? Or, wait. Yeah, 2110, see it up there?
Yep.
That truck was about $740,000, now that's $1 million. So I'll be happy to,
But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
you've raised that 5%, but what you just said is 25%. And I know we can't get out of hand here.
I know.
I don't
get
think
it.
you can do that, though. I don't think legally you could, I think you'd be in a rough spot to be charging them for something that would cost if they bought it, but they didn't. They
I
bought-
struggle with this.
But your insurance guy will say, what's the replacement cost of your house?
It's different, though. I don't,
I'm just trying to get us more money here.
I get it, I got it, but we didn't lose the truck, or we didn't lose the...
okay, can you please make a note to Eric Travis this next time? But you can see, like, take truck 2112. Okay, 2112 is a used truck we purchased for $250K. I jumped that up because I go, I can't replace this for $250K anymore. So I didn't know how far to push it without becoming suspect.
I mean, I think the challenge is, what you're charging people is based on the equipment you have.
Yeah.
And what you paid for it, it doesn't make any difference that it would cost you more to get it. If you had to replace it, if you do that, then the number will go up and you will charge the next one. But you can't charge it.
Charge it over.
So this truck right here is the Ariel, right, 2151?
Yeah.
3 years ago, I went to them, we paid like $198,000 for that, put another $20,000 into it, waterway, stuff like that. And I was talking to Tim, our insurance guy, and I said, he says, well, are all your values right? And stuff was climbing up. And I said, well, I know I can't replace this ladder, you know, unless I bought a 1998, which is, I wouldn't recommend doing, putting people up in the sky 102 feet with a 1998 vehicle, I'd rather not do. However, this truck is all approved, but we had to replace it. I wouldn't get something new. So I said, it'd probably be $750,000 for a used truck. So he raised the value of that truck. When he raises the value of that truck, it's per thousand. So it raised the premium.
Of course you did.
Yeah, everything it turned, oh, geez, you put that in there, oh, you gotta raise it. So that was kind of the struggle I had with this, with some of this. Like, to build my replacement truck would be about $95,000 now. But we tried to be on the side of caution, err on the side of caution, so if somebody looked at it, and you'll see from our calculations, it's very fair what we did.
Well, I think that's the important thing. We want to be fair, because
Right.
most of the time, our cost recovery is going to commercial-type things, and their lawyer is going to dig through it.
Right.
Their insurance company's going to dig through it and say, where'd you come up with these crazy numbers?
And they always
But
try
I get
to, they always try to negotiate with us, oh, that's not right. They do try to negotiate, well, oh my God, you're charging $82 an hour for your services chief, and I said, what do you make?
Well, ask them what their mechanic makes.
Yeah,
You own a boat?
pay $135 an hour to have somebody fix a wash machine.
Yeah.
So,
It's hard to find somebody to do that.
yeah, no, you don't, you replace them, right?
Throw away now.
I got a guy for that.
So, I'm happy, believe me.
No, I
I
just
struggle
want
with this, so, that's what I proposed,
It's still fair.
thank you. So,
And
I'm
to
happy
me, to me, the key part is
for-
we're not just leaving it alone, we're leaving it sit.
Right.
It's like everything we just looked, all those items you looked at on your budget that had been, you know, that were going up by 5 or 7 or 9% or whatever. You can't stand still, you have to
You have to move
reflect.
it.
Right,
that.
right.
So,
Otherwise, I think
Then
we
you-
fail at fiscal management if we
yeah, you're
don't.
screwing the taxpayers if you don't.
So this was one I really want your input on. This is a proposed rental inspection fee schedule. Chris and I really dug into this because he remembered some things and I remembered some things between the two of us, like code book updates, inspector license renewals. For example, I hold 4 licenses. 2 of those licenses on a 3-year renewal are $180 each. That's $360. That's in there.
It has to be, yes, I hope so.
It's in there. So, remember we talked about, this is where I really need your input, we talked about the second one should be punitive, or it should be a penalty. Here's what we have. So, basically, the first, I'll summarize this, the first rental inspection, to go inspect it, would be $200. The time to process it, drive there, fuel, da-da-da-da, we came up with 200, it was 175. All right? So then to re-inspect it, if there was a failure, to re-inspect it, we could only come up with $150. I originally had it at $250, so it was more. But we had a hard time trying to calculate how to get there. There are municipalities, for example, Township, we had a fire. The grill caught on fire, started burning the house. On short-term rentals, the grill can't be on the deck, can't be within 10 feet of the house. It was bolted in place, and here was the worst part. It was expired. They had no license. So I turned it over to Daniel and said, I sure hope you guys give this guy a fine, because otherwise they just laugh at you, and I know Daniel, he'll take care of it. So we billed him as well, because it was an illegal rental. So my question is, can you support the secondary, the re-inspection that is at $150 and not over the original 200?
I mean, these have to be driven by cost, so it is what it is. You take your best shot, I mean, I'm sure there's some movement, but not a lot.
I think if you figured it out, and you came up with 150, I'd go along with that.
You know, they have a list of things that they have to go do, so you shouldn't have to do a re-inspection, they should have it done right the first
It should
time.
be you know, but still when you go back, there's a certain amount of cost.
Sure.
And it's all based, we try to do it all on time, but then I've seen some municipalities charge somebody $500 for the grass is too tall.
Yeah.
Well, how do you justify that? In the way of a fee or a fine? You can do it, just like a traffic ticket or a violation.
Homeowners do that.
But that's up to you
Homeowners
guys
do that.
to guide me on how you want to look at this.
I think 150 is pretty fair.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
I think if you could justify it, do it.
How
Yeah.
much does, how much does Saugatuck charge now for rental inspection?
They're the same, they charge $250.
250?
I thought, I thought they were like 500 and Douglas was like 350, no?
No, I'm not 500, I've never heard 500.
Okay.
I know they wanted to do that. They wanted to do that.
I mean, I think there's, in terms of those, the punitive fines or whatever, those are ordinance-based fines. And then, when they're punitive, you don't have to justify it on a cost basis. You're doing exactly what the ordinance tells you. You know, you screw up, you don't do this.
So this
We don't have that.
This isn't for the original.
We don't have that authority
Yeah, this is for the inspection.
to levy that fine.
This is for the land inspection, which with your approval, the clean copy's on the next page.
Yeah.
With your approval, this will go out so the municipalities can get this in their, notify everybody that
How much-
is July
How much
1st.
of the $200 would the fire district collect?
I'm sorry, what?
How much of that $200?
That's what we.
All of it.
All of it?
Yes.
So none goes to the city?
Well, they
But they
charge
charge
on
above
top
that.
of
There's there,
that.
it's 400 altogether probably.
Right.
Okay, that's what I.
Right,
Yes.
so they're charging for the zoning administrator,
Right.
some clerical things, because what I don't understand, when I asked somebody about this, which city was it? I think it was Saugatuck City, when I asked, I said, how, you know, how can you justify making more than us on this? And I was trying to be nice about it, diplomatic. Well, the zoning administrator's gotta look at it and make sure, how many times do you have to look at the same location? So that's what I didn't understand with the renewal.
With ours, we have a lot of, our code enforcer now is spending most of his time
Looking for rentals?
finding properties that aren't registered. I had a guy call me the other day just screaming at me because he had to register his property. I'm like,
Oh, well, too bad.
Why is it your fault?
Because they-
register it. I
yeah,
don't- He
yeah.
said they made us take it off of, the advertising sites. I said, good.
Yeah.
But our guy is spending like a ton of time doing it.
Well, he can pay his own way, just, the thing that I don't like is, they homestead these and are renting them out.
Put it on your schedule.
That's unethical and illegal and criminal.
Well, it is illegal.
It is illegal.
And why would you do that? But
It has to be your,
there's probably 200 of them. We're estimating there's 200 of them out there.
According to Saugatuck's schedule of fees, short-term rentals, inspections, $525.
yeah, I thought it was like $500.
Yeah, I don't know, I have no idea when that happened.
And they have to
Yep.
register
So we get
every year
200
there too, right?
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's a license.
They're doing it
license.
Yearly.
Yes,
So are we,
that must have been, well, only for them, right?
right, for
Yeah.
Saugatuck.
For-
We're
for
just
city.
every 3 years, I believe.
Right.
I stand corrected, that, the $525 is a rental license, it's $250 for the inspection fee.
Yes.
So you buy a license one time.
Well, yeah, for
And the
whatever the
re-inspection
period I'm
is-
not sure. I think it's annual.
$150.
I do,
These
I
are
think it's
confusing,
annual.
but-
It is. Well, when
A
I
license?
had, when I had one, every 3 years I had to renew my license.
Yeah, Emma's
Well,
gotta renew her.
we can't worry about what the cities do, we have to
True.
worry about what it costs
Yeah.
us to do this.
Yes.
And I like what I see, if you're comfortable with it, I don't think you're asking for too much.
We could justify it in court.
Yeah.
That's all we need to do.
That's all, I'm protecting the fire district, I'll
I think
take this
it's
to court.
super fair.
It's, you know, you'll probably have one person complain, but
I don't know, you're probably-
we're doing it for the whole
Yeah, well, they
area.
make 4,000 to 7,000 a week.
Exactly.
You can justify all they want. I'll send them to Kathy.
So what, my dad gets 8,000 a week.
So you'll put this on the next meeting?
How do you wanna handle this, vote each one, or wait till we're done?
We can't vote.
We can't
Can't
vote,
vote.
Doggone it, you're right.
so it has to go on the
No,
next.
but
Okay,
you
all right.
have to vote.
Sorry about that.
But
So,
it should go on next
Yep.
time as
The next
recommended,
meeting.
just the,
Yeah.
you know,
so we need to note that,
recommended new fees.
we'll list that for a motion to approve or deny
Mhm.
the fee schedules. Thank you. So, okay,
As
now,
a board, we can recommend the,
Good.
looks good, put it on the,
so,
And
moving
our
on,
review. We
After
reviewed it.
further review.
Going on to page 14 of your packet, up on the screen, we changed this as well to more align with, well, a plan review. What is a plan review cost? So we upped that because training costs more. There are 3 state-certified plans examiners, Bernhardy, Manals, and myself. So we try to upgrade that. Truck fee, you'll see truck fee. Okay, how do we come up with a truck fee? You'll see on-site inspections, all right, truck fee. So we estimated those trucks are $95,000 to replace, 7-year life, 700 inspections over 7 years. That's how we come up with that calculation. Fuel cost, software cost, computer cost, inspectors training. Here's what we didn't put in before. Backfill of staffing when we're in training. Who's gonna cover our voids? Inspector license renewals, well, it's $1.11, but it's what it costs us. So you can see what we came up with was plan review and inspection fee calculation.
Looks good.
What was it before?
It'll be on the next page, so,
Oh, all
yeah,
right.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So going on to the next page, in your packet, which is what, page 15? So you can see what it was and what it was raised to. There was more room to redline this version. So why do we take out return visit? Because it's by the hour. We're just doing it by the hour.
Is this on the rentals you're talking about?
Nope, this is like if we do a
Like my
fire
house, I
alarm
need a-
system or a sprinkler system.
If I need a fire alarm inspection on my thing, I have to pay $135?
Nope, it would be commercial.
Oh,
Let me,
thank you.
yeah,
New
for
commer-
anything commercial,
Okay.
hotel, bar, whatever like that. Hood system, a restaurant system. Fire suppression review, that would be a fire alarm system or a sprinkler system. Testing, now you do have it on single-family dwellings, say North Shores, that require to have sprinkler systems. So all that is revenue we have to charge them.
You don't have any problem collecting on this, I think.
No, I just asked Peter to run the numbers on delinquents, we have 2. And one of them is well-known, we don't know why they haven't paid, so Chris sent a 4th memo to them. They owe $750, another one owes $350, they've never done a plan review here before, and they won't again unless they pay us.
I was gonna say, 'cause it's
We don't have to do it.
It's an easy deal, you don't get,
You don't do it.
you pay,
Yeah.
and then we issue the certificate, not the other way around.
Now, what do we change that was different? What's notable for you? It's easier for me to get up here. If you look at site plan review, and I'm asking this, site plan review, right here. Keep in mind, this is a single-family dwelling interpretation, so we get maybe 15 driveway plans a week. We didn't want to tax the taxpayer or fee the taxpayer to death, so we were doing it 1.5 hours for nothing. Well, the problem is, most of these plan reviews that come in for a driveway aren't correct. So the back and forth is costly. So we knocked it down, we said, we'll give you 1 hour. Jerry, we're gonna give you 1 hour. Here's what you need, here's the plan review requirements on the website and wherever you build, all this information. And if it's not right, and we go over an hour, you're gonna get billed at $75 per hour. That's how we changed this.
Oh, we give them an hour free.
Correct, for a single-family dwelling, because, say, True, you came in here and built, we don't want to charge you, but you hire Jerry's Builders to do it, he's getting paid to do it, he ought to know what he's doing.
I don't know.
So, we're having, this is a source of cost for us. We could spend 4 hours on a driveway plan review. So that's why 10 inspections, you can see, that was way out of proportion. We don't do a whole lot because they're all nonprofit. And then rental inspections, first visit mirrors what we showed you on the other page. $200.
Greg, on the nonprofit thing, I've been here before on this. I don't think we cut them, you know, if they're selling beer, they're paying somebody for the beer. If they're, you know, using gasoline and a propane heater, they're paying for the gasoline. Damn it, they should pay for the inspection.
Are you talking to me? You're talking to me.
I think historically what we did, remember when we started this, Eric and Steve, Scott rather, I'm sorry, years ago before the rest of you were on the board, no one wanted to charge anybody.
Yeah.
Well, they were all nonprofits, you know, and then the few nonprofits, you know, Rotary, oh, you're gonna charge us? Oh, yeah. But we didn't want to. You know,
Say they were
so
the nation.
But they're all nonprofits, so that went out the window.
Is there anything legal that says we can't charge them?
No, there's nothing.
Well, then I say we
But what
charge.
you do is they make you, the perception, the optics of it is, oh, you're charging us, we're trying to give away the money. You're using us, using our budget so you can make money to give it away. That's what the lawyers had a problem with.
Yeah.
Oh, they said it's a forced taxpayer donation without asking the taxpayers.
Yeah.
So
And that's bullshit.
everybody was trying to do something like the county, us, the cities were all trying to do something like, what can we do to make this flourish, move forward, without charging them? So, okay, we cut it down from 7 people to 5, now I give them 3. After that, you gotta pay for it. Some of these events, like Mount Baldhead Challenge, wipe out our department. 4th of July in Venetian, we don't charge anybody. Now you have 4th of July on 2 nights, that'll be $9 grand. 5,000 one night, 4,000 another night. Just for staffing.
Does Douglas charge for that kind of thing?
For what?
Inspections? Pardon?
For what? We
Well, like checks.
We just
Check
redid
them.
our whole,
Yeah.
special events thing, and probably the easiest way to explain it, we don't charge nonprofits the first, just talking off my head now, I think it's $3,000. So for bigger events, like Oktoberfest, things like that, Pride, they have to pay. Once you get past 3,000 for the Halloween parade, they have to pay.
So
Yeah,
that-
pay the $3,000
there's some
fee and you
differences,
vote.
you know, like we never charged for the trucks, the board was always supportive of that. Well, Douglas, they wanted the trucks charged for, so we didn't wanna be the odd one, we gave Aaron a bill for the trucks, so here's what it is. But when you do this, somebody goes running to a board member, and all of a sudden I get the phone call, hi, how come you're charging so-and-so? Well, how can we charge Aaron Wilkinson and not anybody else? So, I don't know what you wanna do with this.
I charge them all.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cause it's,
Because again, the
They're
taxpayers,
using the money.
the fact that they're a nonprofit it just makes it sound nice. The reality is that money that they raise is going somewhere. Okay,
So they're
it's
gonna
going to the Rotary, or it's going to a church, or whatever.
So a little less is
Taxpayer
gonna go
didn't
to-
get to vote on whether they want their tax money to go to that church, or to the Rotary, or any other damn place. So, the only fair thing to do is to charge them all the same. Charge them top to bottom, same deal.
that was a dilemma I had is, you know, they go run to the board members, and some of these board members are on those organizations.
But still.
And then, you know, I had
Doesn't
that.
make any difference.
No, huh? Well, I know it shouldn't make any difference, but,
Well, as a board member, to me, that wouldn't make any difference.
yeah, but I mean, when you have some of the council members, not the trustees, you guys don't do any events, but when you have some of this in the city of Douglas, then all of a sudden, well, why are you charging them? Well, at what point, what are the boundaries with some of these big events with Rotary, not singling out Rotary, they're just managing these events, which is great. They're very costly.
And it's taxpayer money. That's the key part.
That's it.
It's not
Just right-
the
yeah.
fire district's money.
Right.
We get it from the taxpayer. The
The only thing
taxpayers
I would
don't
have to
get...
defend on that is the money, especially for Rotary in both cases. Mount Baldhead Challenge goes directly back to the Boys and Girls Club, so it goes.
Terrific. I'm not saying they're not worthwhile causes.
And-
I'm just saying, maybe I don't want maybe I'd rather give my personal money to some church not to the Boys and Girls Club. But I don't get a choice here. You guys are making the choice. That's not kosher. I mean, it's totally not kosher. Every one of them is probably a good, I mean, the stuff that goes to the, what's the
Cow Hill? Oh, what?
Cow Hill. Yeah, true, Cow Hill's a great thing.
Yeah.
I would happily give Cow Hill my own money, but I don't think the fire district should be doing that with taxpayer money.
I don't disagree.
Hey, that was a problem, Kathy, I didn't mean to single out Rotary.
No,
Cow Hill's
it's okay.
another one. All of them, SCA. I mean,
They don't get the beer that they sell at Cow Hill for free, right?
I think the big thing here is optics, and that's what Scott and I have been talking to, even when John was here, it was optics.
yeah,
We all pay taxes, we all love our 4th of July parade.
right.
That kind of stuff, and it's get to the point where, optics have to go out the window.
Mhm.
But what do
This
you,
is costing us money.
What do you
Right,
mean
we
by
gotta tell
board
those people
members?
that.
Are you talking about, you're not talking about fire board members?
No, I meant
Council.
council members, yeah.
Okay.
Not fire board, but
Because
council
I
members.
can't remember ever,
No, I should, there was another one, 501c3, we had an organization that did a fireworks, because it was during COVID, nobody could do the fireworks, so this person was gonna do a 501c3. It wasn't even registered for 7 years. There was no 501c3. But it doesn't really matter, when you have 3 or 4 guys or trucks, you can handle it. When you're shutting down public streets from Mount Baldhead to Saugatuck City, that costs a lot of money. And that's what I said, is everybody aware of what this is? Because we all know and acknowledge this is a great thing they're doing. It's just, if you're gonna put people running in the street, you gotta do it the right way.
I also, on that personal note, I also think they ought to look at when they do that thing. When is that event happening?
the last Saturday after Labor Day.
Yeah, it's in the fall.
Okay. I thought it was in the summer.
No.
No, that's a later one, yeah. Those are, we've been talking about this the 14 years I've been chief on this thing, is what do we do with it?
I think in our reports to the constituencies, we make it clear that the fire district is not in the business of handing out free services to anyone.
But then they're gonna come back and say, well, I pay taxes, and that's what I pay the taxes for.
What-
And I don't agree with that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying.
You pay the taxes to donate to my church? No, you don't.
Well,
No,
I
you
think
don't.
that- I'm just saying what they.
Or, I know what they'll say, but the reality is, we cannot be in the position of giving away taxpayer money to various sundry good causes just because they're good causes. I'm sorry, you
I like
can't do that.
Put it that way, yeah. that's
You
true.
can't do it. You could get sued for that, easily get
Sounds
sued
like-
for that.
Sounds like a lawsuit. Wait.
Absolutely.
I just think it's gotta be,
It
it's
does.
gotta, we had the safety meeting with Saugatuck City, I'll share with you briefly, and it was like, Madam Mayor, why don't you scale these things back? Because we can't do it like we did it 20 years ago. No more than we can fight fire like we did it 20 years ago. There's some things you have to do. You wanna put a tent in the street, you're gonna put concrete around it. All of a sudden, somebody's against tourism. Not me. And I said, hold on, what's happening here? You just put a tent in the street to make money and tied up the street from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you can do whatever with it. Those are some of the things we struggle with, and it's the polarized discussion, it's more staffing all that stuff and the cost, because nobody's gonna do it for nothing. I understand you wanna volunteer for Collier, that's great. For some of the people, this is a living for them. I volunteer for other stuff, so I'm omitted from that classification. But I'm just saying that some of this is very difficult to balance out. But one of the larger ones, expectations that is pushing it, is Mount Baldhead Challenge. And I'll go before council on that.
Again, I think it's to your point, charge them all.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to make any accommodations for, this is a better cause, or everybody in the community likes the parade. Screw that. here's the cost, we charge it. Because we're all sitting here as representatives of taxpayers, not representatives of city governments or township government, taxpayers. That's who we're supposed to be looking out for, and their money going selectively to different good causes and implicitly not to other good causes, not a good place to be.
It's one of those things you almost want the lawyer to tell you can't do it.
Well, all you gotta do is ask them, they'll
Well,
tell you.
yeah.
But then they'll charge you, they charge you $300 and tell you that's how it is.
I don't
You
think
can
that
always
one
say
hundred
to
and
them-
$35 to come and inspect the tent, which doesn't take, usually.
We have not charged
No,
Rotary.
but I don't think that's unreasonable, I think that's
No,
fair.
we didn't charge anybody, Rotary, Cowell, nobody for the chili cook-off, we've never charged. We do that on our own time.
Losing
Support
money here,
this.
we're losing money here. Cost of fire trucks going up.
We do that to support the event, well then how do I decide, okay, I got, somebody who wants to have a St. Patrick's Day parade, which we support, and, okay, so we're gonna charge $135, well then it's for the community. That's how it's presented, as a community event.
Bullshit.
So that's a problem we're dealing with here.
For the community, if they put the money back into
Yeah.
the community, but it's not, the money's going someplace else.
Well, some of them, but Rotary puts it back in, right?
Or your girls' clubs.
Well, we gave $10,000 to each municipality for Eurasian milfoil. That goes right back to the taxpayers, because that would have come out of the general fund.
But again, that's their call, not our call. I mean,
I'm not arguing with you,
I know
I
you're-
agree.
But I'm glad to hear that for $135 for a tent inspection isn't, because you gotta have a lot of education to do this, there's a checklist, it is something that is a code compliant process, and we try, Kyle does it or I do it, I don't bring back Bernhardy or Mandels on it, because it's gonna charge.
You can always tell the people that, I have no control, that's my board told me to do this.
Absolutely.
That gets you, that is true, that's very true.
It's tough.
They're telling you to do this.
It's just like the food trucks that we have, we have another event coming up with food trucks, it's like, boy, probably the worst thing we have is food trucks. Kathy can vouch for that. And the time you spent on this, and then they get angry with you, you say, sorry, Kathy, and somebody else threw one out.
Well, especially when we send them like an entire
Right.
packet from you of what they need to do, they're encouraged to come here first before.
Right.
But if they show up and they don't meet these requirements, they're going home.
Well, okay,
So it
you
should
have
be.
to do that.
On a vacation
We're not
weekend
gonna
where
have
it's
food
80
trucks.
degrees out.
You can't do that, you have to do that.
So, I appreciate the input, I don't know, maybe you ought to decide in the next meeting what you
How
want to
many,
do.
like,
Yes.
how many, besides Venetian, Pride,
4th of July.
Oktoberfest?
So I have a
who else does
list.
tent? Who else does a tent? That
Well,
you have
there's-
to inspect, how big does a tent have to be before you inspect it?
Over 12 by 12, like when we used to do Taste of Saugatuck, where we had those smaller tents. We didn't inspect
What
those.
if somebody has an open house and has a tent in their backyard?
We only inspected it if it was at a B&B for hire.
That's not a public event.
Right. Like I had the wedding,
I'm just wondering.
That's
I had a
private
wedding
thing.
in my yard next
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
I wasn't charging, I should have. But we don't charge for that. If you want to put people in a tent that burns up, that's your prerogative. We would only do it if it was a for-hire event,
Okay, so how many do we have a year? I don't,
not a lot. What happens, when you get like
Although-
3 or 4 for Venetian night, sometimes, because they were varying between.
we're gonna have 2 this year.
More and more
One at
tents.
Berryfield and one at Coughlin.
So, it varied, we had it where we had 4 tents at the beer tent night.
Is this the same event at both parks?
No, at Coughlin, both part of Venetian. The one at Coughlin Park is the typical, Friday night
Oh, yeah.
Star Farm
Venetian.
thing.
Right.
The one at Berryfield is gonna be a rubber ducky race.
So you
More
charge
family,
for 10?
but oriented.
One is Saugerties and one is Douglas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, that's what was my question is,
3 or 4
there's
times.
3/10 up for Venetian.
We do
You
one
inspect
price.
One price for all three of them.
Right. For
Whether it
example,
takes an hour or 3 hours.
Dunes Resort has like 12 tents over there. And they donate the money for, to the, some animal association. So here, we do it on our own time, send the money to the animal association. Question, what do you do at Oktoberfest? Who hosts that? City?
No, the Pride Committee.
Right. We never have charged them and never would.
I can't,
Yeah.
I disagree. I totally disagree. No matter, you start deciding which good cause deserves it for free, you're in a really bad place. We're in a really bad place. And I maintain it's, just doing it is in a bad place. But if you start saying, well, these guys have a really good reason to get our services for free,
That's why you just charge everybody.
that's why you charge everybody the same.
There's no
Just like,
dispute.
you know, however, a year and a half ago, we were talking about special events hours and how they had gotten completely out of control, and, you know, it's done for the best of reasons, good-hearted reasons or whatever, but the fiscal aspect of it makes it a no deal, cannot do it, love to do it, I'll make a personal donation, you know, I'll, come to me, ask me for $100, I'll give you $100 for the Boys and Girls Club. Don't ask a tax-supported body to do that. We can't, especially one that covers 3 different jurisdictions,
I think we're treading on legal.
big time.
Okay, it sounds like we all agree, so I think, you know.
Oh, when we had it on
Why do
the
you
agenda.
think, what do you think we're trading on Leo, by doing it or by?
No, by not
By
charging.
doing it-
Let's put it
doing it
this way,
all.
let's say it costs this fire department $5,000 for Venetian. I'm just throwing it out
Yeah.
there. What if Joe Blow down the street has never gone to Venetian, but he pays taxes?
Sure.
He paid for these people to be here, not there. So if they're not getting paid by them, then they're taking money away from him.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
Okay.
you think we should do
I
it
think
all.
we all agree.
That's what I think too.
Across the
but-
board.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, but it has to be done that way.
I
Just-
agree, totally.
Okay,
I just wanted to make sure I understood you correctly.
All right, there's one other on the agenda next.
Okay, we're beating this up and we all agree, so let's move on.
We do that a lot.
So a clean copy of the fee schedule is on page 16 of 16. That just shows what it would be presented.
And we'll vote on this next month, or a week from month.
It'll be on the
Two-
agenda for
2 weeks.
2 weeks
2 weeks.
from today.
Perfect.
All right, where are we? So
So,
is that it?
we're gonna
Jury's
check.
comments.
Okay, well,
There's no correspondence?
with the hourly stuff, it's just if it's $75, even if you're there a half hour. You're planning on an hour to do an
Correct.
inspection? Okay.
Correct.
No,
We're
we're
not
not doing
breaking
it by
it
the-
down.
I break
If
it
it's
down.
over an hour, we break it down per half hour. Not quarter, we do it half. So it's an hour, 15 minutes, it's an hour and a half we charge.
Okay. We have no correspondence. Do you have a comment now, Jerry, now that we made you a whole, new?
I'll surprise you someday.
Take
Now
notes.
you're a builder, so, okay. Fire board comments, anybody got anything?
Yeah, I do. I thought part of the reason we were having these workshop meetings was to discuss expansion of the building or buying something or whatever.
So we kind of paused on that to get through the budget because we've got a budget presentation, so I hope that was okay. We kind of put it on hold, and we had to focus on getting
Yeah,
this
okay.
done.
Okay,
So
so-
once that's done, we're gonna pick that back up and put it in the workshop, so.
So for the budget, the meeting is in June, the tri-meeting with all the communities?
Yeah, there
That's in
was a
June?
request to do it in May, you know, well,
Trying to get ahead of the season, I think, is part of that.
Okay.
Well, I think the other thing
We
is-
didn't wanna come back like we had to have a special,
Right.
meeting.
see, our meeting was after your June meeting.
So, we just wanna make sure it's before.
Right, so it really
the
needs to be
fiscal year,
May.
and we can approve it before, without a special meeting.
Okay, we can do it after a workshop now. Let's then that's your meeting. Well, we can do it in May, why not? We're ready.
What are we doing?
The
Budget.
budget presentation to the three
So all at one
cities.
time?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we should keep doing that, that was good.
I know we do a mad scramble every year to approve it, and then it has to go to
So let's do it
Douglas.
in May, we'll
Yeah,
do
in
it
May,
at the
so it's
May
all-
meeting.
Did that.
Well, what I think we're doing is doing it too late, then we had to go have a special
Yeah,
meeting.
meetings
because we
over
missed
there
one.
and
Well,
that.
then, the township only has one meeting a month, right?
Yeah,
So
well, we approved it right at the meeting.
Yeah,
Correct.
we have a
Yeah,
special
I think we were the only ones
And
that
that,
had a quorum.
that's what we thought they would do.
Yeah.
We didn't
but
have a
then-
quorum,
Yep,
Yeah.
right.
and we didn't notice it.
Yep.
Plus it had the millage increase.
Yeah,
So it was a little
I mean,
more-
either
little
notice
different.
it and do it at the meeting, do a special meeting at the meeting. That would encourage your people to come at least.
Can't guarantee
At least have a quorum, hopefully.
Well,
So we need-
Pawcatuck's the one that doesn't.
What we need to do is do our, get with Eric and we'll do our budget, we'll have to get on the budget presentation on
Okay.
this.
All right, so, that was my question. So we're on point for that.
So the May third
May.
week,
Yeah, third week in May.
It's either gonna be 100 degrees in that building, or it's gonna be 20 down there.
I'm
I think
hoping
we've
for
had
100
both.
at this point.
I think we've had both.
Hit the average.
Or it could be the same in one day, you know?
Yeah,
That's right.
true.
It could rain
Like
or
last
snow
week.
or whatever.
74 and wake up to snow.
So, fire board comments, Stacy, you got anything?
No.
Eric?
Nope.
Dan?
Nope.
Scott? Drew?
Thank you.
Kathy? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I will send everyone that legend, I couldn't get a hold of Eric, but I'll send it to you guys, I'm sorry I didn't have it in this. As far as what these little icons mean.
Could he send us that? I'd like to show that at my, I can't do it tonight, but at our
Yeah.
next meeting.
I've got it.
The late great Jerry Becker used to say, let's get out of here.
That's not what he said.
You're all welcome to come to Douglas for another
Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right, thank you.
You adjourned?
We're adjourned.